the workshops and everything, it's really secret, like the secret meetings of men in the villages. But explain, like, give it like a little teaser so people can understand what it's like what you do.
Yeah, so I think the greatest way to explain it, and we were learning this concept last night, is we want to be able to get back to a place of how we can feel good about ourselves, about who we are. And if you look at the Torah describes like actually a cool progression of the Torah is a blueprint. It's a roadmap for life, but it's not something that happened in the past, because if it's happened in the past, then what's the relevance of today? So we sort of have to look at the Torah as our guide to our own life in just a storybook form, which is God's trying to convey a message to us. He's giving it to us in somebody else's form, even though I'm Adam and there's Adam Harishan, which I'm going to talk about. But the idea is that I want to be able to use the Torah in a way to guide my life.
That's so awesome.
So what we teach on the workshop is how to make that message practical, that I'm really connected to it. So the Torah's or success, I believe, leaves clues. The Torah's left clues about it. It's not always so clear about what the message is. But if you look at the progression of life, who was the first man?
Adam Harishan.
Right, Adam Harishan. Mm-hmm. And it says that when did he get life? Like, when did life become real for him?
When Hashem breathed it into his nostrils.
So he breathed life through his nostrils. So life happened. The first interaction, and we see that with how we're born as human beings, is our first interaction with life is breath. Right? You come out of the womb and there's a breath. And where did he breathe?
In Gan Eden.
In Gan Eden. So breath equals, in a certain sense, Gan Eden. We're getting somewhere.
Okay.
What was the first disconnection to Gan Eden?
The sin.
The sin, okay, the sin.
Yeah.
And then what happened was Adam Harishan felt something. He felt a feeling. Call it shame. Why? How do we know that? He put on clothes. At that point on, he had to put on clothes. He had to dress himself because there was a shame about him, which means the first disconnection from Gan Eden is a trapped emotion. What's the largest trapped emotion that exists and affects us the most? Is shame. You see that when we were kids, when we had no shame, we would just go and do everything that we were doing. We'd be a kid, we'd be dancing, then we'd be screaming, and then we'd be angry, and then we'd be loving. And you see kids, they go from emotion to emotion, experience to experience. It's like almost an infinite expression. There's no limits on who they are. Mm-hmm. The first moment that they have this limit where they feel like they can't be themselves anymore is actually the moment that they stopped breathing.
Wow.
And what happened is someone shamed them. They became really aware of themselves, and then the breath stopped. I need to stop breathing into that moment, because that's the moment that the infinite being of who I am got limited, got stuck.
Why would Hashem want that to happen to us?
So why he would want that to happen to us, you could say that the whole mission of creation is to go into this place of oneness, of this infinite presence, to go into individuation, or to become a somebody. I have to have self-awareness. I have to be conscious of myself, which is unfortunately happens through shame, or when someone points a direction and says, you're this, or you're that, or you're not this, or you're not this, or stop screaming, or stop being that way. That's the moment of shame. Adam Harishan went through that. What did you do? You ate from the tree. That moment of where we screw up, in order to find a certain process of coming back to who we really are, we have to go into a place of disconnection. Everyone experiences it. They need to. They need to go through trauma. They need to go through a process that shames them and makes them feel really stuck to the identity of this is who you are. That existence feels very real. And then you need to, with the existence of who you are, you need to come back to the level of the oneness, the Gan Eden experience. How do we get back there is the question. How do we feel connected to that Gan Eden experience? Breath. So one of the tools that we teach on the workshop is to get people breathing again. When people got hurt and traumatized in life, or shamed, like Adam Harishan, or everyone goes through that in their own personal life. Because remember, the Torah, going back to that concept, is a storybook talking about your blueprint for your life. So now it has to be relatable. Mm-hmm. So how do we make that relatable? We have to get people back into the most primal force of their life, which is the breath. the thing that happened before we were born, the thing that vivifies us, that gives us life. So one of the practices, and it's really big today, it's called breathwork. Well, we've been doing breathwork for over 11 years. And we've been practicing that. And now it's really starting to pick up. What breathwork does is it allows you to, with the breath, using the breath, get back to a place of Gan Eden. I mean, there's no other way of describing it, because
you breathe into Gan
you
Eden.
literally breathe. And what you're going to meet along the way is all the trapped experiences, whether it be the limited thinking that I have, whether it be the trapped emotions that I have experienced throughout my life, the traumas, the hardship. And it says I can go through all of this because when I'm living from a place of Gan Eden, so I can face everything. Because I can see that life, the source of life is bigger than all these limits that were placed on me. So the breath is one of the tools, and teaching it in that way, people can understand and realize that breath is one of those tools that can help people work through the stuckness in their body. And you find today that the most successful and most talented people have the best breathing patterns in the world. They do.
Interesting.
Athletes. You have it with
musicians, billionaires. They probably breathe differently.
Yeah, they got to breathe differently. Right? They got to breathe differently. So people in the army, people that are the highest level of martial arts.
Yeah.
You need it for those type things, but we all have our own personalized things that we need to be heroes at in our own lives. And we need to be able to use our breath to be able to help us to show up to life's stressful events. So for a soldier, it's going into war. But for a regular person, it's walking in the doorstep of my house and having to deal with all these different things coming at me. And I need to be able to stop, pause, breathe, and show up to life as it comes to me.